Hey, it's Brianna for Triumphant Tuesdays, and today I'm going to be talking about what happens when your therapist leaves, or someone else from your support team, or a friend walks away because maybe your issues are too much. If you remember from one of my other videos, like my therapist just left, and that helped me decide on this topic, and I realized that it's relevant to everyone. But for those of you who care, I am doing better. And I hate to say this, but one of the things that helped me do better was definitely time. I think time gives us the ability to process things and put them in perspective. Um, and I think it helps us to realize that eventually things are going to be okay, and life does go on inevitably. But that's the thing that really helped me, was time. And if your therapist leaves, realize it's a grieving process. It's a loss of a relationship. I'm not allowed to contact this particular person anymore. So it's like she died. So one thing that's really helping me is to not invalidate my experience and realizing that this is a hard time and I deserve all the help and support I can get. I try not to put myself down for having a hard time, but I try to go on. Like, I do all my normal things, and I'm still blogging, and I'm still going to work and doing all of those things. And it's really hard sometimes, but I think a big part of this is acceptance. You have to accept the fact that, like, she's not coming back, as hard as that is. And it's really hard. And I don't know what you believe, and I'm not trying to force my spiritual beliefs on anyone, but I mean, I just kind of sent a message to the universe that I miss her, and I hope that she gets it. And another thing that helped me was realizing all the good that came out of that relationship. I'm so much of a better person. I'm recovered. And there's so many character traits and good things about myself that I didn't even realize. And she helped me realize what a good person I was. And, I'll miss her, but she's a part of who I am. When I think about it, I mean, everything I do reminds me of her. Opening the refrigerator, choosing something to eat, being grateful that I even can do that. Going to restaurants, hanging out with friends, running, not passing out, being healthy. Certain songs remind me of her. Pretty much everything. Even the way I dress now, because it's so different. It reminds me of her. So she's never really gone. She'll always be a part of who I am. And I think that's something to remember, that just because a therapy type relationship ends doesn't mean that that person's really gone. Like, she'll always be in my heart. And Katie Morton did a broadcast, and she actually answered my question because I was really sad my therapist had left. And she said to celebrate the good parts of the relationship for what it was. So I'm just thinking about, all the ways that she made me better and how grateful I am for the time that I had. So I'm trying really hard to focus on being grateful for the time that I did have with her and what I did learn, and not so much to focus on, what I don't have. And I mean, I think I learned enough. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was this show called Touched by an Angel, and angels always came to these people, and it always seemed like the angels left before the people were ready, and I think that's true. Like, I think I could have gotten a lot more out of my relationship with my therapist than I did, but I'm really grateful for what I did have, and I do believe everything happens for a reason. And maybe you could examine this relationship that you had with a therapist or a friend or something, and, like, write all the good parts about it and all the bad parts about it. There were so many good parts, but, maybe if I go to a new therapist, like, I'll get help for my trauma and stuff. This sounds really weird, but I've always wanted to go to a trauma group because I have trauma and I'd like to resolve it in a group setting. But my therapist never really wanted me to. Like, maybe if I go to a new one, like, I'll be able to be in a group and that will be really helpful to me. And I've always struggled with people telling me, like, you have to do this, or you need this, or you need that, because I've always had a really good sense of what I've needed. So it really frustrates me when like therapists tell me, no, you don't need this group, or no, this won't be helpful to you, when I know that it will. So, I mean, maybe I can find another group. And if you have to go find a new therapist, like you have something to build on, like if you make a relationship pro and con list, like things you liked and things you didn't, then maybe you could try to find a therapist to help you with the things you didn't like about your other therapist. Like maybe I'll get help for my trauma. And always look on the bright side and realize that just because someone left doesn't mean that there's not other people to help you. You're never alone, and everything I learned in recovery I still use. And even though I miss her, like it's okay. And time will heal it. And it is healing it. And I think I'm getting better every single day. But I had this therapist for 5 years. She was amazing. So it was really hard for me to lose her because it was like losing a second parent. And like I said, just respect the grief process. Like if someone died, like it would be okay for you to cry, scream, be upset about it, journal, talk to a friend. Definitely do all these things because to you that person did die. I mean, she's still on the planet, but I can't talk to her. And if you respect that and try to understand yourself and be empathetic towards yourself, it's a lot easier. Like if you need to go cry, do that. If you need to write it down, do that. If you need to like call your friend in the middle of the night, well, as long as it's okay with that friend in the middle of the night. I have a couple people that I can call at 2 a.m. But just use all the support you have and respect the grief process. And it will be hard, but there's always another opportunity. So right now, I'm challenging myself to find a new therapist. And I'm going to ask my dietitian about trauma groups for help with that. But I think that I'm starting to accept what is more because, I mean, I'm not crying about it as much. Or not. Actually, I didn't even cry this week, so that's good. But I'm just trying to accept what is. And time will make that easier. So I'm just trying to hang in there and remember that it will all work out in the end. Do things you enjoy. Like, I love listening to music, and I love hanging out with friends, and I love singing. Do all of those things because you deserve them. And if the emotions get too overwhelming, distract yourself. There's so many things you can do to help yourself. And like I said, we're all here. And you can message us on YouTube. We're all here to help you. And, you know, I'm getting support from the other girls too. But I guess mainly just respect the grief process and know that time will heal it because time will give you a better perspective on it. And know that it does get better and to hang in there. It's so hard. Like, there's not really much to say on this for me because I'm still working on it. But just know that you'll be okay and just reach out as much as you can. Thanks for watching. I believe in you guys. And if I can help at all, just let me know. Have a good night. Bye. I love you guys. Hang in there.